We have come to the end of the first day of questioning of Mike Dell, the former Detective Chief Inspector of the Special Demonstration Squad between 2001 and 2005. He's been questioned extensively over the last hour or so on the investigation by himself and HN53 into the dubious activities of James Thompson and the timeline around his understanding and knowledge of not just the unauthorized travel and the misuse of his documents, but also the fact that he'd sold the identity of a dead child, Kevin Crossland, and was deceiving two women into sexual relationships. I'm joined by Evelyn Lovers, the Undercover Research Group, and Emily Apple from the Campaign Opposing Police Surveillance. What have you made of what we've had to hear?
What should I say? Well, he's digging himself into a hole and just going around in circles, making that hole deeper and deeper. He's telling so many lies that he can't keep track of them anymore. He claims that when he found out that Thompson had traveled to Indonesia without permission a few days after 9/11, when all flights were on hold and no traveling, or as little travel as possible was done. When he found out that he had gone there, he then thought it was time to warn the team about not having sexual relationships, while he claimed that he only learned about the sexual relationship of Thompson weeks or months later.
Nearly a year later.
So that really doesn't add up. Mitting intervened again, saying like, okay, so you told the team not to have sexual relationships, and then Carlos Sorecki came to you and confessed he was having a relationship with a non-activist, but that was about to be wound up. And then a few weeks later, Carla went to Venice with her and with like an officer to cover them. Like, how does that add up? And then he goes like, I'm not quite sure about the date, and I might have mixed up things, and so it's like there's so many lies that, or sort of things he claims not to remember, that confronted with the facts in the documents, that is just, he just doesn't have an answer. And also, like, Dell's very proud of Carlo having come forward after his sort of boys listen to Daddy now, that he confessed the relationship. Not only did he go to Venice with her afterwards, but it's not mentioned that Carlo started a third relationship after that. So there's nothing to be proud of. He just went on as he always did. So it's a complete failure, this guy. The management of the team, as we've learned before from other managers, is non-existing. And while we thought this guy had a memory and was talkative this morning, he is talkative, but sort of mixing himself, getting mixed up in his own lies.
Yeah, it kind of feels like we started off learning things this morning. We were all quite hopeful, but fool us. We're back where we always seem to be.
Yeah, and as soon as it gets into the like really difficult questions where they're damned either way in terms of what they say, and their only default response is to lie and lie and lie, and as everyone's saying, it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. I mean, like this afternoon, it was just full of the most like ridiculous, just like one-off lines that were just completely ridiculous. Like with the trip to Indonesia, he said that he was planning to go with him, but then didn't because of 9/11, and that they believed that he was going to go anyway. But there was no way they could stop him because he booked his own plane ticket, so they couldn't have branch officers at the airport to stop him. And I'm like, okay. So all the times that activists have booked tickets in our names, but we're stopped at the airport,
It was
Like,
so ridiculous.
It's just these like most stupid things, like, you know, and that was just one little one, but it was just full of these kind of contradictions and things that just do not make sense. And you know, this is the standard of their intelligence, you know. It's just...
I mean, he said that he would have gone as the cover officer originally because he suspected he was up to some sort of scam. But he says he wouldn't know what he would have done if he'd have gone as cover officer. I mean, you get the impression that these men, you know, they're meant to be detectives. They're meant to be in an investigative unit, and they have no way of keeping a monitor on each other. They don't know what they would do if they found
I
things
started
up.
thinking like, well, we could have got away with so much if that was the standard of what they were doing.
Nonsensical. There was a whole section just before the end where he was talking about how he should have favored the women as opposed to James Thompson, and that he would have prosecuted because he had a pathological hatred of Thompson. He really is performatively showing how angry he is, how he feels he was betrayed by this officer who had gone rogue in some way. Yeah, he says, oh, but it was correct. It was right for Colin Black, the more senior person from Special Branch, to not have had Thompson investigated, because serious crime then would have been crawling all over the SDS. Operational security was more important, but it wasn't right. It wasn't right. He could have stopped.
Angry.
He could have prevented the abuse of Ellie, but that's hindsight now, and it's not right. And it's easy for a public servant to look with hindsight now, and it was so much hand washing.
It was like, but he was emotional. He was getting very emotional. At a certain point, I thought he was going to cry, or he was so like, and that was in particular to the fact that Thompson had a second passport. He had more, they found out later, but he had a second complete identity in the name of Kevin Crossland, another child that died young. And he was asked about sort of the feelings and the rights of the family, you know, like, and then he went like really like, the family of the child that died, shouldn't they had rights as well, and they should have been thought about. And he acknowledged all of that, and then became very emotional, and we were all like, now he's going to say something. And then in the end, it all came down to operational security again, the golden rule. Like, it's more important to protect the units and to keep it secret than to you know, like the harm done to the families, the harm done to the women. Thompson could have been stopped so much earlier. And also, you know, like Thompson is known for continuing his friendship and relationship with Ellie and Wendy for years and years, until he was like on the doorstep of the inquiry, basically.
I mean, it's worth pointing out as well that the whole thing about the Crosslands and the stealing and the identity of Kevin Crossland is that Mike Dell went out of his way to contact the National Crime Agency to prevent them from investigating the stealing of that identity in the case of James Thompson, in order to protect operational security. It wasn't just that he was lax, that he was, you know, he went out of his way. He claimed to have no memory of that. We've seen this selective, more selective than anybody else, lapses of memory. You know, the things presented to him with his name on, of him going,
this was like the most important investigator. I think this is the only time he actually did something while being a manager. You know, it was a very important investigation. And then he doesn't remember very specific parts of it, which is like, it's total nonsense, of course. And then there's also, you know, like, there's not just that. There's not just a trip to Indonesia. It's also Thompson, who, as we're now made to believe, thought out this entire plot to go buy a gun with animal rights activists.
We haven't
France,
got to Operation Lime at all yet. I'm guessing that's going to be something that will come up tomorrow.
I won't go into that. But, you know, there were so many things that were wrong about James Thompson. And he could have been stopped so much earlier.
And I mean, it's the thing with Thompson. It feels very much like something where, like I said, very performative from Dell. It's something where he feels it's something that he got right, because he was part of this investigation with HN 53. But I mean, it's very telling that 53 might know more than me. 53 has got a memory like a filing cabinet.
Promising.
That one.
We're going to hear from him like early July. So He's got 2 days. Like, let him be the one with the memory. We hope that every time, and we hope that this morning. And we're now like, okay, 2 more days of this. It's going to be killing.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think in some ways, Dell's kind of inadvertently set up HM53 with these lines, and I don't think he's doing it on purpose because he's kind of gone out of his way to protect him throughout. But given all the memory lapses and stuff like that, for the officer with the filing cabinet memory to then come in and keep going, I can't recall that. Oh, I've never seen that. Oh, I can't recall that. It's going to be interesting.
I mean, I think he's done the same thing to Stephen Beales, who was coming in on Thursday. He talks about how good Beales was, and we'll all get to see how good. Which, I mean, he also says he's not been in contact with any of his former colleagues. Yeah, I mean, I don't believe that for a moment, but you know, he seems kind of he's very sure that they'll have all the answers that the inquiry is asking of.
Well, it's once again the passing of the buckets. You know, like it's either the buck. I think, you know, I've posted like the green vomiting emoji, like the buckets passing the buck. Like it's either upwards or downwards or sideways or whatever, but it's never them.
Anyway.
No, yeah, sort of. It was not me. It was not me. It was not me. It's like, oh, it's such a. But I think we have to also count our blessings. Like he has acknowledged for a few times today that he had failed and that he was a failure. The management of the unit by him was a failure. So, you know, that we've got that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not much of a legacy, is it? Like having to come back at whatever age he is and just admit that everything you did was a complete failure.
He was a mug, and he was duped. I mean,
he was duped. I mean, that's quality we want in intelligence officers. They can be duped so easily. For all these poor gullible managers who obviously,
and that excellent team that he was managing. I think exceptionally good. It might be good to repeat what we said earlier today, is the fact that he kept repeating that he thought, when he was asked to take the job, he thought about it for 2 weeks. And that, as you said before, that might indicate that he knew it wasn't simple and he knew that there were problems that he would be faced with.
Well, he says that he had no knowledge of Mike Chitty and that he had to Google Mike Chitty 6 weeks ago and he didn't find anything, which I think is a huge failure by the undercover research group.
No, that's
clearly,
not true.
that's what he said.
No, he didn't know who he was. He had to Google it.
Yeah, and he couldn't find anything.
No, he didn't say that.
He did say that. He did say he couldn't find anything, which is a failure of the undercover research group's website.
It's not on our new website yet, but it is. I'm sure it comes up.
It
might be a failure of his intelligence to Google things correctly as well.
There's a long story about Mike Chitty based on what we knew years ago, and that's more than enough.
There's a lot more to come from Mike Dell. He'll be here again tomorrow all day. There was initially a suggestion we only have a half day tomorrow. That's not going to be the case. It's a full day tomorrow and a full day on Wednesday before we hear from Stephen Beales on Thursday. Please tune in for that. Is there anything you'd like to add about what we heard from him today?
Be interesting to see where the lies go tomorrow and which bits of his memory he decides he can access and which knots he ties himself into over the next 2 days.
Yeah.
I'm just going to make a request that people please like and share these videos. I normally always end off by kind of saying that, but we have, I mean, for whatever reason, there's been a drop off in viewers. I understand that the managers are not as interesting as the field officers, and there's not as many activists giving evidence in this phase of the hearings. We are coming to the end. This will be the last set of hearings with the SDS. If anybody's got any questions or anything else further they'd like to know, please get in touch. Anything else you'd like to add, Evelyn?
No.
Okay, thanks for joining us. We'll see you again in the morning. Oh, there was a comment there from Bristol KRS. No one ever wins past the parcel at SDS reunion parties. Yeah.
Good one.
Very good.
Pass the buck.
Another one here from Victoria. You're all doing great work. Thank you so much for keeping everyone informed. Thanks for the support. If anybody wants to support any further, you can buy me a coffee at ko-fi.com/Tom B. Fowler. I'm skint. Bye for now.